edition of Superhero Roundup live here on SourceFedNERD. I am Matt Lieberman. Joining me on the couch, Mr. Sam Basher.
Hello again.
Mr. DJ Wooldridge.
Hey, that's me.
And our very, very special guest, Ben from Comicstorian.
Yay! Special guest.
Oh,
Special. I like being special guest.
You are special.
You're the most
Very special.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're
fun.
great. We went to go see a movie last night.
Did you see Zootopia?
Yes, it was fabulous.
It was amazing. I love that. Yeah.
Terrific. Lots of allegory. We also saw Batman v Superman.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm kind of
a little less
blocking that out.
allegory in that.
Kind of all over the map. No, there's plenty of Christ imagery. If you want some of that. You remember the part where Batman... Anyway, we'll get into that later. So, obviously, this is our full review of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Feel free to chat with us in the chat on YouTube. You can also tweet at Sam using the hashtag SHRoundup. And we're going to be talking about it for close to 45 minutes.
A little 45.
Yeah. So we're going to do a kind of a spoiler-free general review right here at the top, and then we'll tell everyone to get the fuck out if you don't want to be spoiled. Because we need to talk about this
Please.
movie. But before we get started, Ben, if you want to tell people who don't know about Comicstorian or about your gaming channel, if you want to talk about those.
Yeah, basically I run Comicstorian. What we take is we do current comic book storylines, stuff that relates to comic books that are out now. And for those of you who can't read 30 to 40 comic books a week like I can, we take the story arcs, we condense them down to like 10-minute videos and explain everything in a kind of a dramatic tone. Put some like music behind it, make it all epic.
Awesome.
And we just get you all caught up on all of your comic books. Like the latest stuff, great example is Batman coming back. And Superman coming back. So we're doing those stories. Well, in the comics.
Yeah.
In the comics, not the movie.
Yeah.
But we're covering those comic books right now. Those are coming out real soon. I don't know when they launch them.
Awesome. So also, like, if you're on a tight budget and you can't afford to have a
Yeah.
weekly comic habit or a monthly comic habit.
So you know which ones you actually want to read, as
Right.
opposed to, I got to get all of them, and then I don't have ones I want and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we run the gaming channel on the side, which is pretty much the same idea, where we catch you up on video game storylines.
Yeah. And that's Eligible Monster.
Yes, Eligible Monster.
Awesome.
And we do the same thing there. Catch you up on storylines, so that way if you Uncharted 4 is coming out. The heck happened in Uncharted 1 through 3?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm real excited. I'm just excited to talk about Batman v Superman. I have a lot of emotions
Let's-
right now.
You told me I was here for Zootopia.
Don't hear start watching it.
Gazelle.
Yeah.
All right. So Batman v Superman. Ben, let's start with you. What did you think of the movie? Just general impressions.
General
spoiler-free.
impressions, spoiler free. I like half of it.
Okay.
That's my general, which I mean, kind of gives me my score like right in the middle of like 5 or 6.
Like literally, like
there's
half the
there's
movie, or just
Bits and pieces.
No, like
pieces together.
There's
makes
a
up half the
definitive
movie.
point. I'll talk about it in the spoilers moment where I felt like the movie came together and we actually had a movie.
Yeah.
And there's a point before that point where I'm like, I feel like we have 5 movies.
Fair enough.
This is 5 now.
Sam?
I am. There is definitely a turning point. This movie wanted to be very serious, and I think that was a really big draw for a lot of people. But then it became too serious because at the end of the day, we're still talking about, like we've talked about before. These are guys in tights. Like doesn't matter it doesn't matter how you spin it and what kind of political things they're going to talk about, what important things in like our society they're talking about. There's still guys in tights. So you need to have a little bit of fun, just a little bit. And and I don't need you to be making quips every 10 seconds like Tony Stark and everybody in the Avengers because that gets annoying, right? But this movie didn't feel like it wanted to have fun until a turning point. Kind of, I think we're at the same spot. Like there's a turning point where like you started telling jokes, you started having fun, you started seeing a bigger picture for the DCEU is what they're calling it. So yeah, in the beginning it's a little rough.
Okay. DJ?
I thought it was a very messy movie. I went in expecting it to be a disaster, and I don't feel like it was. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
There's parts I enjoyed. There's parts I really enjoyed. There's parts that I thought were really dumb. And overall, I thought it was like a lot of superhero. Like in the terms of cinema, most superhero movies are fine. They're fine. There's some really good ones. There's some really bad ones, and this is like the majority of them, which is fine.
Yeah. I would say it's far from the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
Especially since Fantastic Four just came out
Right.
last year.
Although
Sets that bar really low.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I feel like there's some things that movie did better than this movie.
I don't know if I agree with that. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I see where you're
I don't
coming
know
from.
where he's coming from. I can't agree with that at all.
There are whole stretches of that movie, like in the first act at the very least, that I really enjoy. I like about half the movie. I wouldn't say it's like a specific part of the movie. Like, there are bits and pieces all over that work, and there are bits and pieces all over that don't. But I honestly believe that if you love these characters and you really want to see Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman on screen together, you're going to enjoy yourself. Maybe not the whole time, but you will.
I don't know if you really love the characters, you might have mixed emotions.
Oh yeah, if you love
Superman,
Superman, you're not going to enjoy this.
Well, only if you love Superman in the last 5 years, you might like it a little more. But if you like anything, for the last 75 years,
sure.
The majority of the history of Superman, you might have a problem with this.
Right.
And sorry, really quick, and this is not spoilers at all. I just found a really fun tweet that I like to read, which we'll dive into later. But Trahan the Great wrote, Jesse Eisenberg was a good Riddler. he was a great Riddler in this movie.
That's actually kind of a great comment.
It's a good joke. Thank you. That was a good joke. It made me laugh.
Yeah. So basically, if you had to give it a number out of 10, you said kind of a 6, Sam.
Yeah, low. Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Benny?
Hey, 5 or 6. Do you guys do the points thing? I'll do 5.8.9. Like I'll just add multiple points.
There you go. Yeah.
That's how decimals work now, right?
Yeah.
I'd give it the same score I gave Deadpool. I think they both have their merits. They both have scenes I really like, but overall I think they're very messy for very different reasons. They're very different movies. So 7.5.
There's a comment. Can you scroll up a little bit on those comments? And it's right. There you go. 1972. Can't wait for the porn version. And just like the rated R version that's coming out.
Yeah.
I was waiting for them to kiss the whole movie.
Yeah, Batman, Superman. They got so close. So many
much
times.
chemistry.
What about you, Matt? What was
us.
your number score?
I'd give it like a 6.5. I think it's absolutely worth watching, but I wouldn't call it a movie. Like, it's even
though it is a film, it's not a movie.
Technically a movie, but Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara referred to it in an interview as a growth generator, not a movie. And I would say that that's pretty accurate.
Why would you ever describe something like that?
If anybody's wondering what a growth generator is, when you're up late at night and there's the infomercials come up for growth generators at about 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it was a great pilot to a show.
I would say that. Here's what I would compare it to.
If you think of it that way, it does make more sense.
The benefit. I know
because pilots are almost universally
bad, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. This is where when you have serialized television shows, it's okay if you have a weak episode of Arrow or Flash, because tune in next week and maybe it won't be so bad, right?
Yeah. But instead, we're going to have to wait, like a year or 2 years for the next installment.
November, right now, Justice League's supposed to come out in January 2017.
Oy.
Which is a tiny time frame.
Yeah, man. They're shooting that right now.
Yeah.
What I would compare it to is like sometimes a movie will come out, like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, when it was coming out, there was a 4-issue comic called Star Trek Countdown that came out right before it. And if you went and saw the movie and you hadn't read those comics, you were still able to completely enjoy the movie and it was great. But if you wanted like some extra context about what was going on with all the characters and like the history and all that, you could read this kind of messy but kind of okay comic and you would know all that extra stuff that was going on. And that's what it felt like to me. It was like a 4-issue run of a kind of sloppy comic series.
Actually, on your channel, you talked about the prequel comics.
They explained nothing.
They did nothing. They did nothing at all.
They had these 5 prequel comic books that you had to buy Dr. Pepper to get. And in the comics, all it did was like establish the world. It explained nothing else. Like in there, they said Batman's gonna be brutal and Superman's not liked, and there you go. Enjoy.
I watched a bunch of YouTube videos that told me that in the last 2 years.
I know.
All right. So we're gonna move into some spoilers now. We want to talk openly about this movie because there's a lot to break down: the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you don't want to be spoiled. You need to leave.
Honestly, you can say though, if you already saw the trailer, then you pretty much know it anyway.
Listen, there's like 1 or 2 things
that you
don't
maybe
fully
know.
That you don't fully know yet. So maybe if you don't want those 2 things spoiled.
But now that you think about it, you basically know every beat this movie is going to hit based on all the trailers.
Almost.
No. You miss maybe okay.
They even took the best, the single like big fight scene and put it in a trailer.
Yeah, sure. But I will say this: I actually was very invested in that fight scene in the movie because of the context it was given.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was like, they haven't even hit that yet. Like, what is?
When are they going to be V?
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out of there so we could because I knew what was happening, and there was some extra parts to it, but the context of it actually made me more invested in that fight.
Yeah. Do we want to jump in? Where do we want to jump in?
Let's get into some spoilers. Let's just
Okay.
start going into it.
All
What
right.
do we think?
Well, let's talk about that context. So the big conflict between Batman and Superman we discover has been orchestrated the entire time by Lex Luthor, which I feel like we assumed, but maybe not to the level that he orchestrated it.
But the way they did that was very sloppy.
Yeah.
It was like they spent 45 minutes to almost an hour setting that up.
Yeah.
To literally just have him stand up there and be like, "Here's the entire plot. Here's everything I did." Ha 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 ha.
He did. He did this weird little twitchy
Yeah, he's like,
stuff.
Superman, I'm messing with you.
Lex Luthor, like Wonder Woman was probably my favorite part of the movie, followed closely by Lex Luthor.
yeah.
I think you could have toned the twitchy down just a smidge, but it's definitely old school mad scientist Lex Luthor, and at least somebody on that cast was having fun.
Yes.
I felt like he mixed up, like maybe he never actually read the comics at all, and he mixed up who Joker and Lex Luthor were.
No, I
So
disagree.
they kind of get in the middle of it.
This
That's
is
why Riddler makes
classic
sense.
old school Luthor. It's not like Luthor has never been this way. Like
But
back
we're
in the
talking
day-
way over 20 years ago when he was
Why
like
not?
crazy like that.
Especially in a movie where everything's so dour and terse. Like, why not imbue it with a little bit of different energy?
Here's the thing. I feel like his whole performance is 100% in the text. Like if he just read the script of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, he could find that performance without adding anything superfluous to it. I feel like it's informed by the daddy issues. Yes, daddy issues are fucking boring. We've seen it a million times, but he was going for it. In every scene, he went for it. Not every scene it worked, but in the scenes that it did, I enjoyed it. And I'm somebody who loves businessman Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but because everybody does. Like he's classic. Like he's intimidating.
He's
the
not
human-
classic.
This is
Businessman
classic, too.
Lex Luthor didn't come out until the 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was right after Infinite Crisis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think about this? John Smith writes Lieberman could have been a better Batman than Affleck.
I disagree.
I loved
You
I
would.
think
Hey,
it was great.
I will say you would have been a great Batman.
you.
I know you've been thinking about it, but I really enjoyed Ben Affleck
He was
as
great.
both Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Did you guys feel we got too much Bruce Wayne though? For the first time ever, I felt like there's a little too much Bruce
I
Wayne.
thought we
in
got
that.
too much boring Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like when he was
Yeah.
at a party and he was being charming, he's like, I like that. We don't see enough of this Bruce Wayne.
Right.
But when he was sitting in the cave, I'm like, hey, Alfred. I don't
Studying.
like it."
Taking
It's like,
naps, dreaming
no,
9 times on top of each other.
Boring.
Oh
Don't need
man,
it.
we're gonna talk about those fucking dream sequences.
Zack Snyder likes his dream
He
sequences,
loves
man.
them. One thing I did enjoy about this Bruce Wayne is we actually got to see the world's greatest detective detect. Like it was the first time he was really kind of solving a mystery that wasn't just tied into a villain.
True.
Must have. When
We
was
did-
he? When
When
You
he
know,
was trying to put
the-
like,
the thingy
police-
into the computer thing.
white Portuguese.
Yeah, you remember
Yeah,
he
it-
did the sneaky.
Sneaky?
It's tough, like, because they tried to give Lois some investigative stuff going on too, and it's you wish that
And
like,
Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, you wish some of the like, especially if you're going for a more adult superhero thing. I wish like one of the most adult blockbuster movies I saw last year was The Martian.
Yeah.
which was filled with, or even Jurassic Park is filled with a bunch of smart people being smart, and I wish some of that would permeate any superhero movie.
Yeah.
Give me one where they're just everybody's being smart. 'Cause
Throughout
you have
the whole
world's-
thing consistently.
You have the world's greatest detective and an investigative reporter that can't figure out they're being set up to like beat the crap out of each other.
Well, I mean, everyone was pretty much investigating stuff except for journalist Clark Kent.
Yeah.
He's the only one who's just like, whatever.
Well, that's okay. They
Well,
did a good
because
job of
he's
that. They
supposed
did-
to be talking about the damn football game.
Oh, Perry White was great, and I have to say, I love Jeremy Irons' Alfred. He was
Yeah.
really fun.
I
He's
didn't.
dope.
I felt he was too close and too buddy with him. Like it was almost like they went to high school together.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Irons got out like 1 year ahead of Bruce, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go do a superhero thing?"
I don't know. I felt like it was like very kind of like homoerotic, not my dad, but you're my dad, daddy kind of deal.
Yes.
like
I
a
didn't get
daddy's
that.
issue the
I
whole
didn't-
time.
Yeah.
I didn't get
That is what
but-
fans have been asking for Alfred. Michael Caine wouldn't do it, and so they needed Jeremy Irons, and he came in there. That was Zack Snyder's big fight at
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So we got some really compelling comments here. Flash titties.
I liked
That's,
Batman with the CrossFit. 'Cause
Yeah.
What about that montage out of the blue? He's like, "I gotta beef up before I
Yeah.
go fight
If I'm
Superman."
gonna fight Superman,
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
know,
be the strongest detective.
A quick CrossFit workout will help you fight any Kryptonian.
Kryptonian.
That-
It's true. You just gotta bang a tire with a pipe.
But I do. There's a lot of stuff in the middle, in the front. Sorry, that it will take a long time to talk about. But why did it take so long to get to Batman v Superman? Why did it take? Why were we were
Listen,
teased
man,
so
you
many
gotta
other fights?
withhold. Here's the thing.
It's got to tease it.
Yeah, Zack Snyder, I rewatched Man of Steel the night before Batman v Superman. And one thing, watching the two back to back solidified for me is that Zack Snyder's movies almost universally have a pacing problem.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like interesting sounding ideas that never really get explored. And you have a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of like setting up. It's once you got to, it's funny that you had a 2-hour and 45-minute movie, and by the time they got to Batman fighting Superman, I'm like, where did the time go? I feel like nothing has set this up in a way that I believe that these two guys really want to throw down. Like the first time Batman and Superman share screen live action, first time ever in a cinema, is Superman being like, the Bat's dead and I don't like you with and there's like no, to be fair, in Batman the Batman Superman crossover in the animated series, which is a classic,
World's Finest, it's awesome.
Also their first meeting is also a bunch of dick measuring, so I guess we can't ever have them meet up for the first time and have them do that, but like it's just it was underwhelming.
Sorry. I'm getting excited. I have just 2 tweets. They're really fun. Ranger7 Studios writes, Jesse Eisenberg actually auditioned for a Riddler cameo, but then he was hired for likes, which makes sense. But also another thing to bring it back around for the fighting, Malachi says serial killer Batman was fun. My God, did he didn't just like wound him with a gun. He murdered and then used their bodies as weapons.
Zack Snyder said it was not murder. It was manslaughter.
So I don't think he knows what it is.
Batman's not stalking people and killing them. But if they stand in his way, he's not against them dying.
Yeah,
right.
It was a dream sequence primarily with the whole manslaughter. But then, when that happened, I'm like, oh, that was a dream. He's using guns. And then when he breaks in and he's like grabbing the rifles and he's like, kill this guy for me. And I'm like, that counts. And because the other guy was pulling the trigger doesn't mean that doesn't count.
The guy with the grenade and then the guy with the flamethrower. I guess the logic.
The flamethrower was the worst.
Well, I guess the logic might have been like, hey, I blew a hole in your thing. If you pull the trigger, that's on you, bro. But before that, the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Like he's dragging a car behind him, and we see guys looking at the car as it falls on them.
And he's got guns on the car. So the argument of like back in the game of Arkham Knight where everyone's like, he would never use guns. It's almost like DC was like, put guns on it. Just so that all makes sense now.
Yeah.
I feel like
Arkham Knight was mostly drones that he's blowing.
I feel like Zack Snyder loves Batman Arkham Knight.
He loves it.
That car did all of that.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like, how do we heighten this car chase? He's already crashed through a truck and a bunch of cars. I know, let's crash it through a boat too.
Yeah.
Why? Anyway.
And nothing beats the Superman slap of it. Just out of my way.
Out of my way.
Well, I loved that. Can we talk about things that we loved about this movie?
Okay, we should focus on some things.
Because we didn't hate this movie. Am I right
I think Sam might have. Sam might have hated it.
I didn't want to, but it's pretty like there's a lot of things that didn't redeem the movie.
Okay. So what did you like?
I liked the weird flash, like the fucking dream thing when he ran in like with the lightning, and he's like, Bruce, don't do the fucking. He can't hear me, and then disappeared.
No, he was like, did I come too early?
Yeah.
Which
that's a fun joke.
I like that the big theory. Everybody was talking about it being a dream. I put forth the theory that it was a flash forward to the future, and it turns out the answer was yes.
To what?
Yeah, it was a dream and a premonition somehow simultaneously.
I don't like where that was stacked.
Having premonitions.
Well, again, that's the problem with the editing. All around.
Well, and I was talking to some people about this the other day, like the fact that it was almost Inception, where we had a dream and a dream and a dream, and it would have been so much better if that Flash thing just happened elsewhere. I loved the Flash thing. Yeah. I do felt it went on a little too long for what was supposed to be a quick cameo and maybe a joke of, oh crap, I'm too early. Was like a minute and a half of Bruce Wayne just being like, what is going on? Like him just yelling at him, and then he wakes up again. But it was like, why did you put the dreams next to each other?
I don't know.
Like, did you just want them both? Couldn't pick one? You're like, put them both in. Let them figure out what happened.
Yeah.
But other things I like Batman. Batman was great. Loved Wonder Woman. Really didn't know what the hell she was doing during this whole movie. Even when she saw the encryption thing, she was like, I couldn't figure it out. Here you go ahead and play with it. And then I really liked when they opened the files. And I know it was just Warner Brothers like, you gotta give them something for Justice League. You gotta give the audience something. And when she opens it and you watch all the files, like, thank you for clicking on the Flash first. That was great. You click on the Flash and that was amazing. And like his was cool. The cyborg thing looks like a fucking nightmare. Aquaman wait a little too long. He was just like sitting there.
Yeah,
Hey, what's going
kind
on?
of like,
What are you?
All right, now, keep looking at the camera. Keep looking.
Try not to look like you're
Flex a
actually
little bit.
holding your
Keep
breath.
looking. And now slowly reach out with that trident, like almost as if you want to show me that you have a trident, but not like you're gonna actually do anything with it.
And then what was the last one? Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg. That was
it.
actually
That was
it.
them, yeah.
And I love that Lex
okay.
Luthor labeled them.
And he logoed them and everything, color coded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here, and I was talking about this with you guys, but did you? Oh, don't you feel like there should have been more in there? Because where was he getting this? Even if she didn't click the folders, like we should have just seen a symbol that resembled a Green Lantern ring, and seen like something for Black Canary, or all these different people.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the whole thing. The question is, and like, so Aquaman and Flash, cool. That was security footage. I could see. Okay, he's just getting weird happenings.
Yeah.
How did he get Silas Stone's personal like vlog of changing his son?
Probably it was in Star Labs. I think the
Hacking.
implication was supposed to be it had something to do with Man of Steel. So maybe when Star Labs was screwed up in Man of Steel, he found
Maybe.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
there
found
was,
the-
there was that one line that Lex had about how it was part of the Metropolis rebuilding initiative. So maybe
That's called a reach.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
called a reach.
Maybe he had access to Star Labs because he was busy rebuilding Star.
I like that. I liked Lex. I liked Lex when he and Superman faced off. When they faced off, and like Lex is like, "I'm winning right now. I understand everything." And I liked how Doomsday looked. I actually liked it. I know he's Cave Troll from Lord of the Rings. Get it? I think, but I get it. But like when his bones started popping, and like even just him, his 3D model looked cool. That's it. Okay, what was your favorite part of this movie?
I liked the movie from Lex's exposition of the entire plot onward.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, like I literally was at a point where I was like, I'm bored. Like I'm bored in a Batman v Superman movie.
Yeah.
Once that happened, and like, oh, that's the plot that's been going on. Okay. I was like, I'm on board. The fight started. The jokes started coming out.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the movie that I was looking forward to. I wish it was more than an hour.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much like I loved the Justice League references. I thought that was great. And I love the fact that they're pretty much really throwing them in there. Like Marvel's always done like quick little mentions, and if you pay attention, you'll hear them talk about something else. Though this was like, here's the folders.
Yeah.
Here's the Justice League. This exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I loved that, and I loved the second half of the whole movie. But
Yeah, I agree with that too. There's a moment. There were scenes. The movie did a good job of like. Metaphorically good job that they would like completely squander goodwill that I had and then slowly build it back up until they had another scene that was like, son of a did we need to open with the Flash? We did. It played into a plot point that I actually really liked, but did we need Batman's origin again?
I liked the fact that it was just a credits roll instead of being like 20 minutes of intro again.
But then there'd be stuff they built like Wonder Woman, kind of like outsmarting Batman. I'm glad they didn't saddle them with a romance.
Yeah.
I see it coming.
Close.
Yeah, if you had to like give a microcosm of my feelings of this movie, there was the scene where Superman went to the Senate to do his hearing and was like, this is cool. Superman's going to argue for why he feels like he should exist. And then he says nothing and he does nothing. And then the explosion happens and he just looks like, man.
But then the same face when you mess up a card game.
Yeah. But then that's immediately followed by a scene that I actually really liked where he goes to Lois and he's like, I'm worried that I could have seen it and I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a Superman problem. That's a problem that like maybe I could have done something.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I just
actually, he
didn't-
could 100% have done something.
Yeah, but like maybe
He
but,
is
like,
Superman.
Yeah, he's Superman.
until like you said, like when I love that it wasn't the fight was Superman goes like, I actually need to see if Batman can be like Superman's not going there to fight.
Yeah.
I liked that. That was because that's again slowly the movie started making him more like Superman.
Yeah.
Till you got to the fight was fine. I actually thought that was kind of which would the fight between Batman and Superman be anything other than clunky? You've got one guy punching way above his grade,
Right.
and then one guy deep powdered. It's just going to be kind of messy. But once Batman was like, oh shit, this is stupid. I'm gonna go help your mom.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Then I was like, yay.
Now we're a team.
Yeah. And it was cool. And then at least here big spoilers. Here we go. Superman dies at the end, which you know what?
That's the only thing you missed.
Hollywood has been trying to make that story for decades. I'm glad they got it the fuck out of the way, so maybe we can get on to some cool shit.
Right. It's like they got it out of their system.
But Superman went out like Superman.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank God.
Did
I
you
agree
like
with
when
that.
Lois showed up everywhere conveniently and then she took the spear and was like, okay, I gotta get rid of this, put it in the pool. Walked outside, see a battle with gods. It's like, shit.
I shouldn't have
wonder
done
if
that.
you need that fucking little spear
Yeah.
thing.
But why would you also think that?
Yeah, because there's no context for it, because
Yeah.
she has no idea that the reason why there's a big fight is because there's a Kryptonian monster.
She saw the I-beams and just assumed.
Assumed.
Oh.
I've
Okay.
only ever seen the I-beams on Zod and Superman.
That
Yeah.
is fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, she is supposed to be smart.
Yeah.
in theory.
Things I liked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. What'd you like?
That's all right.
Move it up.
Batman saving Martha, that whole sequence was awesome.
Yeah.
It's the most Batman thing I've ever seen.
Even with the gun?
Even
spraying
with
people?
Even with I don't think he ever went for a kill shot, and I think he's a good enough shot that he would miss when appropriate.
Did leave that grenade to go off.
He did let that grenade to go off, but that dude threw a fucking grenade, and he's got priorities. He's got to save Martha.
Yeah.
True.
He's got to
Also,
save
I
his
like
mom.
that. Listen,
I mean,
don't-
Superman's
don't
mom.
worry. I'm totally going to save your mom. I'm going to fight this half dozen guys first.
30
I'll get
guys.
there.
30 guys.
I feel like they just wanted to say, like, because they did the whole Batman's more brutal.
Yeah.
And I think they just want to be like, you know what? Forget about the whole Batman doesn't kill thing. If I was a vigilante with a bat suit, forget that. Let's just go kill people.
Well, no,
kill.
it's not. It's kind of like how on Doctor Who, the Doctor now will let people die, but he won't actively kill anybody. It's that same thing. It's like, I'm going to let you die if you put yourself in a situation where you're going to die and I have higher priorities.
Which fans really responded well to on Doctor Who. They loved when the
Loved
doctor
that.
just stopped
But
caring.
What else did you like, Mal?
Well, I would say it's everything. Like when the movie really came together and was humming, I agree with you, Benny. It's like from the Luthor scene on the roof, through the Batman v Superman fight, through when he saves Martha. For me, it's up until Doomsday emerges from his little sack. The Doomsday fight to me is so visually incomprehensible, loud, and stupid. I couldn't. I loved Superman in space, his body rotting, his face like coming
Zack
apart.
Snyder real loves Frank Miller, huh?
Yeah.
Dark Knight
A
Returns,
lot.
Yeah.
real loves
Oh
it.
man, well he even like sneaks it in for a frame when Batman uses the grapple gun and he goes on the side of that building. There's a quick lightning flash, and then he goes again. But
I wonder if he was sitting around just like, we gotta put the light, you gotta do lightning flash right there. It's gotta look just like the cover.
the fans are gonna love it. Yeah. I really liked Bruce Wayne's chemistry with Wonder Woman. Thought that worked really, really well. I also really liked that Clark Kent and Lois scene after the Senate hearing.
Yeah.
I liked the peach tea. I even liked that it blew up. It was dumb at the time. I wanted them to have this scene, but I was like, ooh, fuck.
And this is the
really
scene they've been teasing since the first trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that scene was like, I feel like almost like it was filmed, and then like, they were like, no, we can't have that much explanation. Just blow it up.
I feel like cut out Batman's origin at the beginning, have the opening credit sequence be Bruce Wayne seeing the giant battle.
Yeah, which that whole
Then-
opening
That was amazing.
That
That
was
retcon?
thrilling.
And then he saves the guy. Then literally the next scene, have the hearing with Superman. Just forget all the stuff that happened in Africa, I guess, wherever it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because you don't need any more reason to put Superman on trial than the end of Man of Steel. And have, when Superman goes in to do his hearing, he gives his speech and then he looks over and there's that guy. So we as an audience know. And then I'd have that guy be Metallo. And so there's a big fight.
Yeah. Break it up. You don't need to give Metallo a whole movie.
We had
Definitely do not.
like
Yeah.
an hour and a half before any real action sequences happen.
Oh, what about the murder of everyone in Nairobi, Africa?
Just
Just call it Nairobi.
That was just pointless in itself. But I just feel like we just had like 20 minutes of just them both getting angsty for no reason. And then we had 20 minutes of why would they fight without really connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, Batman's kind of looking into things and Superman kind of doesn't like the bat. And they gave no reason for Clark Kent because they never implied that Batman actually came back.
That press stuff that he was retired and stuff is not in the movie.
Yeah,
Right.
so basically, we have no reason for Superman to, out of the blue, suddenly be like, you know what? Really don't like that Bat Vigilante.
You know what
You know what? I've been thinking. I've been reading up. I don't really like him.
would have been interesting? I've been saying that instead of the needless flashback to his parents getting killed, seeing what this Batman's career looked like. And maybe a flashback to the death of Jason Todd, which they imply. And maybe after that, Batman did something really kind of screwed
Heinous.
up.
Yeah.
which is why he retired.
Yeah.
And so when Superman hears that he's back, he's like, no, thank you.
No, hell no.
That would make sense if he was like, oh, this guy from 10 years ago and I wasn't around.
Especially if you love The Dark Knight so much. In that one, spoilers to The Dark Knight Returns, he doesn't kill Joker, but Joker kills himself. Don't do that because we want Joker around, but something to where it looks like Batman did something really bad.
Can I... the one thing... Oh, man, I just lost it. You were saying before The Dark Knight Returns...
Yes.
What were you saying right before that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just
I don't know.
different
Sorry,
pacing.
Grant.
You could have had this movie be a little bit more propulsive, and then any plot holes would. That's how Marvel movies get away with it. Their movies are riddled with plot holes, but they move on at a quick enough pace that you don't notice or care.
No, it's the fact that Batman was gone and then he came back, and it's just sort of like I understand why Superman wouldn't like Batman is because he doesn't get any respect, even though he's Superman, even though like he's done in his mind nothing wrong, really. Everybody is still afraid of him. Everyone still hurts him. It's like this Bat guy gets to like fucking brand people and all this shit, and like everybody's just fine with it.
Yeah, I want to brand.
I want to brand. Well,
I wanna
it's like
do
if
that.
I can't brand people, why does he get to brand people?
And are we teased at the end that Batman doesn't brand anymore with the fucking...
Yeah, because he
didn't get
learned
that
from
at all.
Superman. I do. The movie
He
left on a
branded
note.
the wall,
The
Sam.
movie the movie left on
Right
a
on the
note
scalp.
of saying, hey, listen, we need to respect this guy's memory. We need to step up, which makes me hopeful that the Justice League will kind of operate like the motherfucking Justice League in the Justice League movie.
No.
Like, I'm hopeful. Probably not.
No, I'm just kidding.
We refuse.
And they flirt. There's moments where they flirt, again, because a bunch of ideas, they flirt with the idea very briefly of the idea of Batman. I think this is what I got out of it, that Batman's primarily attacking the lower class.
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting if Superman primarily spent his time helping the lower class, and Batman's like, why are you wasting your time? You could do such big, great things, and you're helping the little guy.
Right.
And even though Batman's only after criminals, that umbrella goes over mostly lower class people. That would have been an interesting something.
Yeah.
Something.
I like the
Can you
ideas.
scroll up a little bit? Can you scroll up a little bit on those
There's
comments?
a lot of really cool ideas that they could have.
Yeah, I still love this approach of like in the real world, would we view Superman as a savior?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
What do you think about this comment? Our Hexagon says, I really like Batman's oh shit moment.
With
yeah.
Martha.
Batmobile?
And he dives under rubble
which
to protect
I think
himself
it's
from
the oh
Doomsday.
shit moment where he's in the Batmobile and he sees Superman in his path. He's like,
Oh,
shit.
no, I think
No,
oh
he
shit
says
is
Doomsday.
Martha. I think you mean that oh
Yeah,
shit?
where he literally
oh,
says,
There
"Oh,
was a
shit."
couple of moments where he was like, "Oh shit!"
But I like that this movie was
Way
smart
out of my
enough.
pay grade.
When Batman is smart enough to
That's
have
not
Batman.
Bane.
By the way, quick costume change. When he decides to save Martha, he gets that armor off real quick.
Real fast.
When
but
did he make
when
it?
He sees,
When the fuck did he make it? No,
During
like,
the montage.
during shit.
but when he
montage.
sees Doomsday, I'm glad it wasn't like, oh, I got this. You know, it was like, oh no.
Oh, Batman's like,
But it is
I'm
funny
gonna-
because really, traditionally, Marvel kind of stole DC's act because people complain about DC that, oh, the DC characters don't have problems, they're too likable, and Marvel was all the angsty teenager. Marvel was what teenagers could relate to. DC was meant to be what teenagers could aspire to.
Right.
But when Marvel made their movies, guess what? Iron Man's not an alcoholic anymore. He's just a fun playboy. Don't you want to be him? Don't you hang out with him? Of course
He had
you
one
do.
crazy night.
Yeah. And so now, and now the DC is left to be like, well, I guess they're the angsty guys. Like, yeah, I want to beat you up. Yeah, I want to beat you up too.
Yeah. The movie is a beautiful movie. Can we say
It's
that?
more.
The IMAX
Zack Snyder
sequences were incredible.
Zack Snyder makes pretty pictures.
He does.
Pretty pictures.
And he makes, and I know he gets a lot of flack for it, but I really like his action sequences.
Yes.
The way he pans in with the camera as he's going in for, like, the best moment, like, my favorite
The Wonder
scene.
Woman
Wonder
jump?
Woman jumps in and
Yeah.
that camera zooms in with her. And you're just like, "Ugh, it's Wonder Woman.
The one action sequence that didn't feel like a Zack Snyder action sequence was when Batman in the Nightmare sequence was fighting all the soldiers. There was a
That
lot of
was
people
rough.
running up with their guns just so Batman could like take them
Yeah.
away. It was like, this
Everyone
is-
pose.
Yeah, especially compared to the later fight scene with Batman against all the guys. It was like, that was clunky. The Parademons looked real cool.
Yeah.
Parademons look like parademons.
Yeah.
Once they came
that
out and
was
saw
real
his
cool.
face, I'm like, oh, that is it.
Yeah.
Like the whole time they're coming in, I'm like, I think it is. I think it is. We think it is.
Yeah.
And then you see the goggles, you're like,
Yeah,
And then he wakes up.
They
And they're-
look like flying monkeys at first, but then when you see them, like they're scary looking.
And it looks like they're kind of doing building to a cross between Injustice and the Legacy two-parter of Superman the Animated Series.
Oh, nice.
Where like it seems like Lois is gonna get killed. It's gonna make Superman all kinds of crazy.
well,
He's
obviously
gonna
they
team up
avoided
with
all that.
Darkseid.
They obviously
What?
avoided all that because
well, no, that
Batman
could still
did
happen.
save her.
No, he said he came too early.
Yeah, but
So
he's
what
like,
if
he's
that's
like,
in Justice
She
League?
dies. You remember Superman's thing? You let her die.
Yeah,
And all
she's
this-
gonna die in Justice League Part 1.
Do you guys
Yeah.
think Darkseid's going to be the one that brings Superman back, even though we saw the dust going off his...
Yeah, what if all the dust coming off his thing is a boom tube opening up below it and sucking in that
No, what
that
I would love to see is the 90s Superboy with the coat and
Yeah,
everything.
you want to see all Justice League with Steel, the Eradicator.
I got a tweet from Aslam on Twitter. So is Superman actually dead? I just wanted to bring this up for everybody on the panel. Or is he back alive in his grave? He's alive in the grave, but he's not strong enough to get out, so he's just buried alive.
Right, that's basically what's going on. 'Cause it's a Kryptonian coma.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. When he gets so much damage, it's a Kryptonian coma.
Oh, like that
Yeah.
episode of the Super Friends
Yeah.
where they jettison him into space, but then they discover that he had a coma.
It's a lot of people around the office have been asking me, like, how does Superman come back in the comics? Alien magic.
Yeah, that's basically
Yeah,
it.
so
he
it's gonna be
literally
alien
wakes up a
magic.
year later. That's what
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
He
alien
doesn't-
magic happens.
Oh, this is
although
for
it would
guys.
be interesting if Darkseid is the one that brings him back, and they
Maybe.
have to. So,
I
but-
could see them going in an Injustice style direction, making
don't-
him pseudo villain because that comic is selling amazing.
Yeah.
That game sold amazing. That everyone loves the Injustice series. You can't just do Injustice, but you could definitely go in that direction.
I don't know. DC has like a big hard on for just doing the comic that people liked.
Yeah.
Like you see it with all their animated releases instead of doing original stories now. It's just let's just regurgitate everything.
Well, actually, they tried. It was bad blood. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very.
pretty-
But they
bad.
had Gods and
It's pretty
Monsters
bad.
Chronicles. That was damn good.
Yeah.
Gods and Monsters was
I
fun,
don't know.
though.
Again, I want to see the trend of Superman being Superman continue into the next movie.
What if Zack Snyder just said no? Because in this movie, I got the strong feeling that Zack Snyder hates Superman.
Yeah,
Hates
I don't
him
know.
so. It's like, you know what? He could do an X-ray vision scan of the room for like bombs, or this is a really important meeting where like the most powerful man on Earth is here.
Yeah.
Even though he can't get hurt, he
No,
can do a lot of
no,
damage.
Sam. Civil liberties. You
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
do that.
How did the bomb even get? Like, you're in the Senate.
Yeah.
You can't, like, nobody checked everything.
Hey,
oh, well, he's
that man
paraplegic,
has
so
no
that's whatever.
legs
Let's
and
let him
he's
go.
in a robot
I'm
chair.
assuming Lex Luthor did some of his crazy mad scientist shit and made it so it wouldn't be picked up. Like I'm assuming it was
Okay.
even lead line. So if Superman had looked,
You know,
He did,
everybody
he
knows
did somehow
that.
get a jar of piss in there. So.
yeah, he's got his magic powers.
How did-
And he put the piss there.
He also let Mercy Graves just die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Screw
I didn't
Mercy
even
And I
Graves.
was
She's
like, cool,
gone.
Asian
She's
Mercy
dead.
Graves.
She's
Yeah,
gone.
we hired a dope actress to play Mercy Graves. Fuck it, she's
Or
out.
she could come back as that, like, robot thing that she comes back as.
Lame, don't want it.
No, I want more robots. Cyborg looked like he was going through hell. That's what everybody wants now,
Oh,
right?
you mean a little part of a boy?
Yeah.
Hey, no, he's not cyborg yet. That was little part of a boy.
That
They-
was
that was half a C. That was half an O. So that's
Yeah.
why it's a little part
And
of a
yeah,
boy.
he merged with an iPhone app.
Are you guys excited for Justice League after this movie?
It will-
or at least interested?
I'm excited for Wonder.
interested.
Interested,
Yeah.
not just
Interested.
excited, but interested.
Here's a question: what would you guys want to see in the Justice League?
Somebody
movie?
other than Zack Snyder direct it.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
too bad. Too bad.
Is David S. Goyer writing this one again?
No, it's only Terrio.
It's only Terry.
As far as I understand, it's only Terrio.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting though because of course everyone's freaking the hell
And it
out. They're
sounded
like
like
Rotten
Wonder
Tomatoes is low, so everyone's like, "Well, is this the end of the franchise?" And what people aren't realizing is Suicide Squad's done. That
Yeah.
thing's coming
Yeah.
out in a few months, no matter what. Wonder Woman is already done in wraps.
Yeah.
They are starting filming Justice League. Like before DC and Warner Brothers could even decide to pull the plug in this whole thing, we're gonna get like 5 more movies.
And also, I don't think pulling plugs on. Everybody's assuming with the critical response and the negative conversation that this movie's not going to make all the money. But we've been having that conversation for 4 Transformers movies now.
Oh yeah, no, that'll make the money.
You know what I mean? Like, in all our circles, we will hear people shit on it, crap on it, whatever. But it will still have its fan base and will still make money.
Yeah.
And the hope is that this movie, I felt like learned a lot from the mistake. Not a lot. It learned from the mistakes of Man of Steel and corrected my favorite one, because this is all you need. I don't
man.
need your Avengers half hour where you try to save everybody. All I need is the Power Rangers response. What's happening in this warehouse we're in?
Ooh,
Don't
ooh.
worry. It's abandoned.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
love
That's
that
all I need.
comment. This
That's
whole
all I
island
need.
is empty.
Don't
That's all I
worry.
need.
This part of the city, people go to
no.
work during the weekend. They will have gone home.
It's an early morning Saturday.
It's
No one's
No
here.
one works late
Listen,
in Metropolis.
It's like
illegal.
it's like a
That's all I
Sunday in
need.
LA. Everyone's not driving around. Don't worry. You can fly through a building.
in Man of Steel, there was 2 jokes. In this movie, we had at least 6. You know what I mean?
I
Like, they're
still
having a
love
little
the
bit more
issue
fun.
with you.
Is She With You? I thought anything with Lawrence Fishburne in it was great, probably because he's Lawrence Fishburne and he's a boss.
But Is She With You makes as funny as it is, makes no sense because Batman's the one that researched it.
Yeah, right. So he knows.
I thought he was. I did all the research, but I thought she was with you.
True of most of the movies. Scenes work as well on their own, but once you try to contextualize it in the rest of the movie, you're like, wait,
no.
Why would he ask that?
I'm curious to see
Secret identity. Secret identity. He couldn't tell the difference between Diana Prince and
then
Wonder
she put
Woman.
on the headband.
No, even though he saw the picture of her from World War One.
Where she wore the armor.
The one thing,
poking holes in your theories.
the one thing I do want to see the R-rated cut for is just to see if more things make sense in it.
That's what I've been saying.
Barbara Gordon.
She's in that, I think.
Yeah, that's I mean, hopefully we'll get more of some of the stuff that we wanted. I'm looking forward to seeing the longer cut in hopes that maybe if you look at all that 3 hours plus of stuff, you're like, I could cut this down to a dope 2 hours.
I could do such a better job.
And you know what? It would be fun. Also, just really quick, if anyone wants to comment down below and figure out what the hell happened, and when they're in Africa and Superman decides to just throw that dude through three walls.
He doesn't throw him, like he
takes him.
That guy would have been liquefied.
Yeah. Then why were people mad? Like, because it was the
an evil
terrorist who
dictator.
opened fire.
Yeah,
but they didn't know that.
They didn't know that. There were no witnesses.
Yeah.
Besides Lois.
But this is one thing.
She
And
was
let's make
in
that
a
connection
room.
quickly. As soon as he did that, shouldn't the rest of the world know if I do anything to Lois, Superman will be here in a second?
1 second.
One
Yeah.
second.
Well,
He'll
let's
be
figure
here,
it
Just
out.
have
and
to
he
be
will murder
hanging out
you.
in Nairobi.
You know,
They-
that's
again,
Superman's fortress.
I think all of that was to tie in the negative backlash to Superman 2 Lex Luthor, but it was just clunky. Again, we already have the end of Man of Steel. We don't need people to have any other reasons to not trust
And
Superman.
they retconned it. They put it in there again by putting Bruce Wayne. So you got reminded it happened.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be a situation where you're like, well, hopefully they saw Man of Steel.
And it
If
was
the
just
credits
as
had-
gut-wrenching as when you see that ship careening through. It's like, this
I
is
think it
not
was worse.
okay.
If the credits had rolled after just that opening sequence that took place during Man of Steel, if it like faded to white and that was it, I would have been fucking on my feet, just clapping my ass off. Like just that whole opening sequence was incredible.
I was saying it was gut-wrenching in a bad
Harrowing.
way.
No, but I think it was even
gut-wrenching in
better
an
this time than the
incredible way.
first time though, because it was from like the point of view of someone down there.
Yes. And
you
Instead
never
of
get
being like
that.
they're flying. No, you
made it,
you
like,
watch Bruce Wayne
connected
being
for the
like,
first
I
time.
need to run to this. Like this is
It's like,
pointless,
this
but I
is-
need to run to this building.
This is like 9/11s at once.
I think it's like you think about this. Hey, I'm gonna think. Here's the thing about this.
Sam has a think.
Sam has a think.
Imagine if you took Bruce Wayne out of that, instead of having him go save things, but put Lex Luthor in that position, that would make him you'd understand him a lot more. Don't have him go running into Luthor Tower or whatever the fuck, he or LexCorp. Just have him there and seeing from his point of view. That's all you needed to make him a little bit more
you could even
understandable.
cut between Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I honestly.
And what if Lex
liked-
lost his dad in that?
Well, I clearly hated his dad.
Well,
so I've always thought that
What
would
if
have
he
been
just
a good.
changed one thing in that stuff?
I actually liked Lex's explanation of the hatred of his dad being projected onto Superman. That's something I thought they could have done for a while. It goes with that Fight Club logic when Tyler Durden's like, our perception of God is based on our dad.
Yeah.
So our dad's left us. So how do we perceive God? And so you connect it with Superman. I thought that was cool. I didn't need Lex Luthor's dad to be a Nazi Germany, apparently. Like, does every supervillain need to tie to... Are we going to... Does Joker have a
'cause
secret
Nazis
Nazi
are bad.
ties? Yeah.
Sure. Nazis are bad.
Yeah,
And they
he
got a
wears
guy
it
with a
only
red
on special
skull. Oh, wait, no, wrong
occasions.
movie.
Wrong thing.
Here's a quick tweet.
Yeah, tweet it.
Diana says Superman is in the grave in Arrow that Oliver is standing over.
Oh.
That makes sense.
That would be the
We have
sickest
to
connection
kill him.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make
So he has to go kill Doomsday?
Henry Cavill climbs out
you
in
mean-
Arrow.
Could you see Arrow just going up against Doomsday, just throwing a couple arrows and be like, oh no.
How bad shit would have been if when Batman's in his armor fighting fucking Superman and suddenly it cuts to old man Oliver Queen from Arrow with his kryptonite arrow. Like, what's
man.
happening?
No, I would have loved if you just had like Arrow come through, like he came in to see what was going on, and he's like, no, I'm not.
yeah.
No, I'm not in this.
Bye-bye. Hold on, I'm gonna head back across the bay to Star City.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love.
Central City is on the other side of that, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got a question about that. Since when are Metropolis and Gotham separated by a river?
That's
And since
happened-
when is their patrol a 10-mile like
Since
radius?
we
of the
discovered that
No.
they are San Francisco and Oakland.
Honestly, that doesn't bother me. They've done that in the comics before, and the fact that you have San Francisco and Oakland as representatives. What bothered me more is that San Francisco and Oakland. No, that Metropolis and Gotham are completely indiscernible.
Yes.
I have no difference on those cities feel don't. They
One
just
gets
feel
sunlight
generic
and one doesn't.
Yeah,
it
one
just-
is under a permacloud.
Yeah, one's
like-
raining.
Yeah.
and then you go over to Metropolis, and there's no
also
rain.
rain.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a thing now though? Like the river runs around and over here's coast, and like you said, Central and Star, and they're all just bitch. A river separates them all.
Yeah. Here's where all the superheroes in the world operate, and everywhere else in the world they kind of pop over.
listen,
The,
and
like,
they're all
hey,
City,
hey, you
Atlantic
can't throw
Ocean.
shade.
There you go, yeah.
You can't
In
throw
New York
shade 'cause
City and Marvel?
every Marvel hero is in New York City,
Yeah.
so you can't throw shade to that.
They've
What'd
made
you guys
jokes on
think
that.
of that?
Which one is Oakland? Gotham. It's Gotham. Yeah, of course it's Gotham.
What'd you guys think of that that one awesome moment during the Batman v Superman fight scene where Batman picks up Superman like the cross, and he's Jesus carrying the cross, but Superman is also Jesus, so it's like a Christ on Christ on Christ situation.
Where you get a Christ metaphor, I saw Zack Snyder's love of wrestling.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
ready to suplex Superman.
he's literally carrying him like Jesus is carrying the cross.
If you've won at this point, he's won. Why he's carrying him right? It's over. Why instead of just stabbing him right then before he even woke up, was he like, let's spin him around a few times?
Yeah, the spear was down there. He had to get him down there first.
No, but he walked him
got
to
him
it,
down, yeah.
and then he spun him. Then he's like, now that you're really beat
He
up.
didn't think twice about shooting that car full of people. Like, he didn't give a shit about that. We just went right ahead and murdered all those people. But with
When was
Superman, throughout the whole thing,
shoot a car?
The Batmobile, when the Batmobile like blew up a car and,
and then
drove
tethered
through
it, and then threw it at
Oh, yeah,
another
that's right.
car.
Yeah, but
Batman-
he needed that kryptonite to fight Superman.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Then later he just shot up LexCorp like a serial killer and stole something. That is
Rubber bullets.
He
man.
didn't shoot it out. No, those
yeah.
shotgun shells were the security guys.
Oh yeah, obviously.
No, seriously, they were meant to be. It was meant to be the security guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed
All the
that
security
part.
guys on the floor, unconscious, maybe dead.
There's
Yeah.
so much more we can go into. You guys keep asking what I thought about the Flash. His little security footage was really fun.
I'm actually really for the
That's
very
it.
brief time we saw Ezra Miller. There was a lot of energy. Like I'm actually really interested to see what Ezra Miller brings to the Flash.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like a weird Flash, but in a cool way.
Yeah, and also with everybody like, hey man, let me show you my serious face. Like I think Ezra Miller, like when he's just bullshitting in the
He's
fucking.
kind of more
he's like
Wally
a
West type.
Oh,
Yeah.
2%.
Or
I want
Bart.
scale.
You could be
yeah,
a
and
Bart.
then he just takes out the guy and he's like, whatever. It's like I'm actually really interested to see more of that Flash.
And there was a Green Lantern tease. They say Ferris.
They say
airline
Ferris,
something.
Captain Ferris.
I really want
It's a
Green
Green
Lantern. I
Lantern
know
tease.
they're saying that Green Lantern might not even show up at all in the first Justice League. I need it. We need a little bit more
I need
color.
a ring. Like
I-
a ring needs to show
Well,
up.
you know, they have that shot, that production shot of the Justice League without Green Lantern. It's like it's missing a little bit more color. It's
Well,
it
the
needs
problem
that, it
the
needs
problem with that
green.
is Green Lantern is such a core element of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Why is he out?
because
Why
his
is
movie
Cyborg
bombed
in?
real bad.
But
the difference between Batman v Superman and Green Lantern is Batman v Superman will still make a lot of money.
Yeah. At least the script was finished for
Well,
this one.
and that could be chalked up to no one knows what the Green Lantern is. So why wouldn't you? I mean, they were like, oh well, no one knows what Cyborg is. Give him a cameo.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be like, oh, let's just put a ring in there? You know,
Yeah.
like let's just show a guy with a ring and pointing it, and he just makes something like. And that's all Lex has. That's all he has.
What about if it was just Abinster's body? What if that was all they had?
An
He just-
alien.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in his suit, so you have the symbol. That's a reason for that
Yeah,
branding.
maybe
in the file.
when that government guy is giving Lex Zod's body, he's like, "Hey, you want any more alien
got a
bodies? We
few
got
more
this
in the back."
purple guy."
And this one's not Kryptonian, but we're not sure.
We're not sure
He's
what
got
he
a ring
is.
that seems to do some cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly, with
Our
as
guys
much
keep
as
fucking with it.
I think audiences, if they saw the general audience, if they saw anything Green Lantern related, they would have groaned.
Maybe.
Because I think that brand is kind of poisoned right now, and they need to find a way to.
They need the first appearance of him to be awesome.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Also, throwing this out there, I'd hire either Matt Damon or Ryan Gosling to be Hal Jordan, and I think that would fix a lot of your problems too.
Ooh.
Matt Damon would be hilarious as Hal Jordan. The back and forth between Batman and Hal Jordan.
Jordan would be great.
Yeah,
That'd be so.
that would be really
See?
cool.
That would
Yeah.
be so cool. And they already have their little like thing in the comics.
And he already does stuff in space. He's a Martian. So
Yeah,
of
of
course.
course.
Yeah, exactly.
Interstellar.
Yeah,
Well, you know
Spoilers.
what? Justice League should be all about the Justice League spending so much money just to save Matt Damon as Hal Jordan.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that so much. But
Nathan Patel says, "DJ, they groaned anyway."
You know what? I'm not sure general audiences did. I know we
A
did.
lot of people really
Our
liked
theater
it.
Yeah.
cheered and clapped.
Again, I'm telling you.
In Disneyland, our
yeah.
theater cheered and clapped when like the Justice League was announced. When the movie ended, the fight they were cheering. And
It's
clapping.
it's also very interesting to me. This is no messier than 75% of Marvel movies. It is longer though. But it is interesting that I think it's an interesting study that Deadpool's a great example. Audiences would rather see a movie that tries really hard to be funny than a movie that tries really hard to be serious.
Yeah. I can see that.
And it looks like they enjoy movies that are more, especially with these superheroes, something that's more character focused than plot focused. Because both Man of Steel and Batman v Superman have been more, at least as far as popular reception. Because like we were talking about, audiences still cheered. This is still going to make a boatload of money.
Yep.
The Transformers movies still make a buttload of money.
I actually like the Transformers movies.
And I hate. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
It's a
fourth
popcorn
one-
movie.
The fourth one I had to watch for here. The fourth one I think is the best out of all of
Yeah.
the most recent ones
That's
of all things. But
Mark Wahlberg, right?
So, sometimes
Yeah,
you just
Marky
need a
Mark.
movie where you can just sit and enjoy popcorn and not really go back over it in a couple months.
yeah, and I think the most we can hope for is that hopefully they will keep improving and we will get the DC movies that we want as an audience.
Well, now that they've set it up like this, that's exactly like, okay, cool, we set it up.
Yeah.
Now give me some really good solo movies and let's really get this going. Let's not just drum up another one like this.
And they also released a promo image for Wonder Woman, and after seeing her in this movie, Gal Gadot,
Oh, yeah.
It's Gal Gadot.
Gold Gadot? I've been saying it wrong forever now.
Listen, when she was
Gal
announced
Gadot.
at San Diego Comic-Con, it was Gal Gadot.
That's what I said.
The
Yeah.
Israeli
But-
pronunciation, I was informed, is Gal Gadot.
Yeah, so I don't know, and I
don't
think
know.
you're probably right. I'm just saying at Comic-Con she was announced
I
as Gal
could be
Gadot.
wrong.
Her name is
They
Wonder
said her
Woman
name wrong
now.
there and she was
Her
like,
name is Diane.
Really? I was wondering if they said anyway.
Hey,
I'm
did you guys
excited
want
for
to
Wonder
ride
Woman.
on Turkish Airlines more or less?
Do you want a Jeep? I
Yeah,
believe
they
Batman had a
played the
Jeep.
Jeep ad before the movie, and then you see the scenes in the movie, you're like, you bitches.
how about the
that
fact that
scene
Wonder
in
Woman flies
Heroes.
economy?
Oh yeah.
Feels like a regular person.
There you go. That's
Ooh, what
secret
about extra
identity.
legroom?
Yeah,
Coach.
That was cute.
Yeah.
So I think general consensus is not everything we want it to be, obviously.
Obviously.
But not a complete disaster.
No, it could
I
have been
believe-
way worse.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, a
Okay,
flood could
Sam-
also light on fire. So, but that's my opinion. That's me in my little box. Go ahead and write all your hate in the comments down below. I accept it. I need it. I feed on it. So go ahead and send that to me. Please be racist, too. I would love that. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Wait, you should let them come up with what a racial slur for a Kryptonian is.
Oh, yeah. This before the show.
Yeah, guys, let us know. Please
don't
tweet at us.
Please don't unleash them trying to create a racial
Come up with a racial slur.
Guys,
for
you're
a
great at
Kryptonian.
it. Yeah. You're great at it. Just go ahead and focus your energy and just come up with a racist term for Kryptonian. Well, guys, what final thoughts? Final thoughts on Batman v Superman?
For me, I tell everyone, if you like Batman and Superman, you like DC, check it out. Don't put too much stock into it. Get some popcorn, check it out, and get ready to see what they're going to do next. Now, if they bomb Justice League, I'm all bets off. That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like, you get one.
This is it. This is the one. Because
Man-
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah, I like Man of Steel, too. I feel
like Man of
like
Steel.
like 3/4 of that movie work so well.
Yeah.
Then it gets a little
A tornado
funky.
and the whole death of the
The
father
dog
was
is-
good.
Oh yeah, Kevin
Aside.
Costner was in this for some reason.
yeah, hi, Kevin
he was on
Costner.
Mount.
That was
Actually-
there was 3 pointless scenes with Superman. Kevin
Crappers.
Costner.
Yeah.
You get rid of
out of
that
the blue,
one, you know
between
which
two
one.
action sequences, he goes to see his mother.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why'd the music go all soft for like
Yeah.
3 minutes and we just go right back?
Yeah.
I actually like that scene with Kevin Costner than any scene with the Man of Steel.
Crypto.
Even though the
Crypto.
context of it was really weird, like the story, I don't know. I
like his relationship with Jonathan Kent. It's just the scene didn't work very well. It just didn't work very well. Also, I forget Kevin Costner is Jonathan Kent, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's just Kevin Costner talking to Superman right
Superman.
now.
There's the slurs.
Guys, you're doing great with the slurs. Thank you so much.
I love calling
last
Kryptonians
thoughts.
crippled.
I didn't hate it. My final thoughts is I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it.
I am hopeful that this. I like this movie better than Man of Steel. I'm hoping I'll like Justice League more than this movie.
There you go.
Yeah, I hope that I like Man of Steel more than this movie, but I still have hopes for Justice League. I feel like
But I'm with you. If they screw up Justice League,
I'm out.
kind of over. Yeah.
Suicide Squad better be dope.
Oh, please, for
That's-
the love of
You know
God.
what? That trailer had never really worked for me before. Then I watched it in the theater and it was awesome.
I am really excited for that because unlike Batman and Superman, where we had this high expectation of what they have to do, no one has any expectation for anyone in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Who's dead? Deadshot. Don't care. It's Will Smith. Just go watch the movie. That's it.
Even Harley
what,
Quinn,
they're
you're like, who's
fighting-
Harley Quinn? I don't really know that
They're
much
fighting
about her.
tentacles?
Yeah.
Cool.
Tentacle,
whatever.
yeah, magical, colorful tentacles.
Yeah.
Real simple, yeah.
Also a Japanese? No.
yeah. She's in there, she's got a
And
sword.
Viola Davis is in it. I'll
Yep.
watch.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right,
Right.
gang. Thank you so much. Benny, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Comic Storian, Twitter at Comic Storian, Instagram at Comic Storian. And if you want to see me talk about video games, that's Eligible Monster. So Comic Storian, Eligible Monster. That's my two things.
Hell yeah.
And thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
Thanks
It
for
was a
having
blast
us, man.
having you. Sam?
I'm worn out from all the nerd rage that's been boiling up inside me. You can find me on Twitter at Sam Basher, at Instagram at Sam Basher, and I think I fixed my YouTube channel that it's Sam Basher. When I did it though, there was a number in there, so I don't know how you just go ahead and Google me.
It's Sam Basher, but with a 4 instead of an A.
I think so.
You're
There's
the
yeah, I'm the fourth.
Same Bash the Force. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
All right.
Nice name.
My name was taken, and my last name's complicated anyway, so screw it.
Yeah. Did you see there was a Wooldridge that worked on the movie?
No, I didn't.
There were
We're
two
probably
Wooldridges, a
related.
Carl Wooldridge and I think a Jill Wooldridge.
We'll
they're
go ahead and
probably
find
related to
them.
him. I should
Yeah.
give him a call.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman and check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matt Lieberman. And the Walk and Talk episode, my podcast about Christopher Walken movies about Batman Returns is going up this weekend due to computer issues. The original version got destroyed, so we had to retape it. Fun. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. See you next Friday.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Tune in next Friday for Superman Flash or Supergirl Flash.
Oh, Supergirl Flash. Shit, forgot. There we go, doing that.